Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about another item that I do sell fairly regularly. It's also an item that you can RA and do wholesale in, as well as the collectible side. It's paper dolls. Crazy or not, I do them wholesale, and I have picked up a ton of them on RA where I can get them very cheap, under $1, and still sell them for $7 or $8 a piece. So you've just got to look out for these. There are rankings on Amazon. They sell very well on eBay as well. So we're going to go over there right now, and we're going to talk about paper dolls.
Say, boys and girls, I'd like to show you this wonderful Mary Hartline magic doll that the Kellogg folks have for you. See? She looks just like me. She's made out of sturdy plastic board, 1/8 of an inch thick, stands 9 inches high in her own plastic stand, and she comes in true to life color. But the most wonderful thing about this magic doll is she really is magic. You just cut out one of these cute costumes, slide it back and forth a couple of times like this, and the costume will stick right on magically. No taps, no paste.
So here we are with paper dolls. The most expensive ones that I usually see are the vintage Disney ones. This is about 1938, if my memory is correct on this. There's several different versions of the Snow White one. These all sell for some horrendous amount of money. This one went around $600. It was a buy it now with best offer, and it ended in the $600 range. So discount the $795. Again, for those of you who don't know, eBay does not show the actual sale on a buy it now best offer. You have to track that down. There's other apps you can actually use that will give you that information. You can usually tell, though, by what's on top of it or what's below it as to where the price fell in that range. So that's what I do with these. Again, vintage ones here, they will sell on multiple platforms. Cross-category interest, because this could be in movie collectibles, Disney collectibles, paper doll collectibles, as well as paper. So again, and that goes for most everything we're going to show you today. Next one here is an excellent condition, original 1910. This is like a hardbound with cloth spine book, and they're on thicker paper. I've seen these before, never in this nice condition. So the museum quality statement does stand a reason on this one here. It's a very nice one. They're uncut. Very, very good copy of it. $514. The Little Colonel Doll Book. It's by Annie Fellows Johnston. There's a follow-up to this as well, too, like a second edition with different dolls in it. And I don't remember the title of it, but I'm sure if you recognize or look for that name, Annie Johnston, you will find them. Now here are the Charlie's Angels. Perfect example. It's all of their characters throughout. Sabrina, Kelly, Chris. Again, really nice key items here. This one went for $326 for the 3 of them. Sometimes I'll lot them, sometimes I won't. It depends on the one that it is. Here we go. I actually have the follow-up. This is a companion to the Little Colonel Doll Book. That's the doll book we just showed you from 1910. This is from 1914. This is Mary Ware Doll Book. It's just a follow-up to it. Interesting. $299.95. Next one here, another Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is $279. Excellent condition. Even if these were trimmed and the characters were still there, they still would sell. Next one here is an S&K. Now, S&K, I'm not sure in the actual maker on it, but it is a German maker as far as I can tell. I have had many pieces marked S&K with Germany on them as well. This is a Christmas issued set. Again, they made toys, a lot of these. Some of these are actually promotional items. Some would have been bought at the store to give as a gift, just like this. They would have come in an envelope or something along that line. Next one here is now a collection of them. Famous Queens and Martha Washington paper dolls. Now, I don't remember the date on this. This is Tucker, so it's probably 1895. So there we go. I figured it would be Victorian era. Even cut out, totally disassembled in the whole works. These kind of things still sell. $295, but they have the box for it. Next one here is some McLaughlin Brothers. Now, it's a coffee company. It's from my general area, so I do find these constantly. I've got about 50 of these lots up right now, and I probably have another 50 or so that I've acquired since listing the first batch. I've sold half of what I've listed already. These are good sellers for the most part. $225. Here's another set. Now, this is another Victorian set. Some of these were actually issued as trade cards. Many of them were issued as fold-up ones. So basically, the doll is in the middle, and you slide it over, and it folds, so you have both sides of it. Usually said the character and the whole works on them. Another good example, this is for a Cocoa company, Stalworks, $210. This is a near complete set, though. I've not seen a nice set like this before. Next one's a Nellie paper doll set. Nellie was a popular name. Some of the Courier Knives prints that I've showed and talked about in the past were the Nellie character. So just FYI, you'll see trade cards as well with Nellie on it. Now this is an early one. You can see the envelope it came in. This is very early. That's probably a letterpress or steel plate engraved printing on that actual envelope there. It's a real nice early one. I haven't seen this one before. $175 on this one here. It's hand watercolored to the actual doll clothing itself. Now here's Joan Crawford's Wedding, 1942. Whitman. Whitman is a standard name. If I see Whitman on something, I usually dig it all out and check it all out just to make sure, because sometimes Whitman will show up with some really scarce ones. Now with these two, they don't always have to be complete. You can still sell these. It probably won't go for anywhere near as much, but 30 or 40 bucks if these were all cut out. You'd still get out of it if you have the actual booklet or binder that it came with. Folder, I guess you would say. Now here's just another example here. This one comes with furniture and other pieces with it. This would have went with the McLaughlin actual coffee inserts and stuff that they actually gave out. This is like a booklet you could send away for, and they would go with the paper dolls that you could find too. And some of the paper dolls were ones that you could actually send away for, or given as gifts, or that were cut out of actual trade cards. $175 on this one. Now here's what I find sometimes, these big lots like this at a estate sale. This is a typical example of exactly what you would find at an estate sale. Now some of these aren't worth selling on their own. The Blondie and stuff like that probably would have been. Elizabeth Taylor, there's several of those in here. Let's see if we can just take a quick look at some of the other ones. Several Elizabeth Taylor, Grace Kelly again. That would have sold on their own if the doll is there. These won't sell very well on their own unless you actually have the paper doll and some of the clothing and the doll's in decent condition. Teen Time, that's a box set. I've seen that set before. Here's just a perfect example of what the little folders. Now there would have been a book in here. Somebody's disconnected the actual book that the dolls were in and cut out the dolls, because you had to cut out the dolls. Most of the time the dolls were actually part of the cover and you had to cut out the cover. $149 on that one.
Magic Doll, you get 10 beautiful true color outfits. Everything from shorts to a beautiful pink formal. Why, even two of my own Super Circus costumes.
And kids, you can get this terrific Mary Hartline Magic Doll just by sending in 25 cents in coin and a box top from Kellogg's Sugar Smacks or Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes. Use the handy order blank on the package or send direct to Mary Hartline Doll, Box 313, Battle Creek, Michigan. That's Mary Hartline Magic Doll, Box 313, Battle Creek, Michigan. That's the prettiest cutout doll ever and such fun to play with. So send for your Mary Hartline Magic Doll right away.
Here's just another example, $145. There's a ton of paper dolls. They even issued them in the Sunday comics like for Tilly the Tailor. They're in comic books as well. They're in magazines, books. You can buy them even to this day across the gambit of places. Even Walmart sells them. And that is something that I have personally RA'd. You don't see them usually in the toys section. You have to go to the books and magazines section. But that is something that I find as well, too. So it's a good item to RA. It's a good item to wholesale. And 100% good item for vintage. Just be careful and look everything up before you actually buy it. Now here's just another one. This is the paper doll itself is probably, it actually looks like it's probably a handmade paper doll. Somebody might have cut out a head out of a card. Yeah, that's what it honestly looks like to me. And then somebody actually then made the dresses and the outfits for it. These are types of pieces that you will find. I have found pieces like this from auctions, estate sales as well. $135 on this one. Toyland, just another one, Victorian era, cutouts as well. Next one is a Tammy. It's Tammy's Closet. Now, Tammy was an actual full-fledged doll that came out in the 50s. And, you know, fairly popular for several decades at least. This one's $127. Kim Novak, actresses. Actresses, TV shows, even the Munsters, they have paper dolls from Bewitched, Gilligan's Island. You name it, they did it. Just like they do today. There was a marketing campaign for everything in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even through the 80s. The age does not matter, as I say on these. You can get brand new ones, brand spanking new ones. There's also designer ones and hand-painted new ones as well. We have created some of our own even. The next one's an Elizabeth Taylor on her own. Now, some of those lots that I showed you, I may have split them up. It all depends on how much of it's there. If it's mostly complete, you can do it like this on its own. If it's not, I kind of cram it together in lots. Here's a Twiggy. Now, almost anything Twiggy has some value. This went for $115. It's in the box. Now, there's a paper booklet version of this as well, too. Just keep that in mind. And this goes across many different categories. Entertainment collectibles, because there are Twiggy albums, Twiggy calendars, Twiggy books, Twiggy magazines, Twiggy dolls. There's a ton of Twiggy items in general. $115 on this one. Next one here is the Lone Ranger. Now, it doesn't just have to be towards girls. There is boy and girl paper dolls. These are more like paper cowboys and Indians more than anything else, I would say. And these type go way back as well, too. These are back in the Victorian era where they had Indians and things along that line, Native Americans on horseback and things. And I've showed some as well. Here's a Sunshine Biscuit Company set. Now, these were issued... These were actually hand-colored by somebody with a crayon, it looks like to me. I could be wrong on that, but I know some of these were ones that you would actually have to color. These were inserted into bread, as I said, so 106 on these. Next one here is what I usually see are these big, huge lots at a estate sale. This is a typical lot of what I would find in a box, $5 or $10 at an estate sale. Literally, that's what I would pay for something like this. Most people, you can bundle it all together. They think it's all cut up and damaged. It's missing pieces and things. The paper doll figures themselves will almost always sell, so... They might have been able to sell it for more, too. Just Donna Reed, just another one. Actresses, the whole works, as I said. Any of that stuff sells. Now, here's a trade card. It's just basically smaller than a postcard once folded. This is meant to be folded. It's an advertising piece as well, too, so you can kind of see it there. I've had a couple of these. I haven't had this same one. There's dozens of these different types of cards from the same company. It's the Willimantic Thread Company. They made stuff for decades and decades and decades. So, $95 on this one. Cowboys and Indians, just another example. Some of them had play sets that you could cut out and things along that line as well, too. $100, it's from the 60s. That Girl, a TV show, and they've actually thrown in some other stuff into here. Marlo Thomas is the actual character. So this is a pretty decent set. It's more than just the paper dolls, but either way, it's a decent assortment. $82 and some change. Now, this is a Barbara Barnett. Now, this is an off-the-wall. It's a hand-colored one. Limited edition. It's new. It's from the 80s. There's a ton of new companies that make these, and of all kinds of screwball and odd characters. So, not that this is a screwball or odd character, but just in general. Let me reiterate this just one more time. These can be done as a wholesale item. These can easily be done RA and collectibles. 3 areas to shop these in. You can find them across the gamut. Even for like Dollar General, for those of you who do the Dollar General or any of those kind of places. Kroger's has them even occasionally. RA, you can look for them anywhere you go. Now here's a sci-fi version, Fireball XL5. Another perfect example. This is another one of the Puppet Gary Anderson series, if I'm not mistaken on this. Steve and Venus, those are the characters. It has some damage as well. It still went for $78. Somebody's going to want it just for that box, if nothing else. This is a primo item that you just don't see these type of items much at all anymore. And the last one's just another lot, just like I would see sitting at a estate sale. Usually you might get $5 or maybe $5 to $10 a box lid like you see here. Usually if I bunch them all together, I can get them all for, say, $30 or $40 if I'm lucky, or less. They sold for $77 on here. I would have split these up by the actual person, the actual actress, and sold them that way. Because there's a lot of them, and even this 20 set would have done better. Part of the reason I would have done that, because you can't put enough detailed description in there to draw all the people that may be looking for a specific person. Doing it this way, you're mostly just getting paper doll collectors, but people who collect a specific actress or star are going to want that star. So if you could list them separately, you will almost always get more for them. So, Well, there you go. There's another item that I do look for across the board. For any type of my business, I can find paper dolls. They're new, they're old, they're vintage, whatever the case may be, NOS, new, old, sealed, whatever the case may be, they all sell. Well, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.